Yeah, so really, I wanted to look at this topic today because the conversation of happiness has come up throughout the month for me. Different people at work and then also personally. So we're going to be examining why strategies to create happiness. And the reason being is that oftentimes throughout these conversations that I've had with people, it's as if happiness has been some sort of thing you just get to, and then the world is okay, right? Or I put in all this work, I stayed at this job, I got this degree, I got all the clothes that I need to get, and now I can finally be happy. I got the money that I need, and I can finally be happy. Or the relationship that I am, and happiness is assured to come. Well, we know that the reality is that that's not what it is, right? Sometimes we get it, and sometimes we don't. We go through moods. We feel tired and fatigued, and other days we feel energized, right? Can happiness exist in both of those situations? Absolutely. Does it sometimes for many of us? Absolutely not. So, one of the focuses of this article specifically is that we're going to be living with fullness and serenity does not depend on others. It is a personal journey, and such as your journey to define happiness for what it is for you and for your life, right? Happiness isn't somewhere where we can go. It's an emotion, and like any other emotion, happiness is fleeting, right? So when I think about it, I can feel sad one day, and then the next day, I go up, I get out, I do things with my girlfriend or the dogs, and I'm not so sad anymore, and that emotion is gone. Happiness is the same day, same way. Some days jumping with happiness, right? It's flowing throughout me, and I just want to go out and enjoy the world. And some other days, I don't want to get off the couch, right? These are my own struggles that I deal with, and many of you all have your own in a similar way or in a different way, but again on that spectrum of floating between emotions. So again, the point is when we look at happiness as a point to get to, then it creates this high expectation, and when we don't get there, or when we strive to get it minimally, that ends up feeling a little bit more defeating. Whereas the reality is happiness is emotion. And if we can learn to look at it as such, we understand that one, it's fleeting. And two, because it is fleeting, we can achieve it throughout the day on different days at separate times. It's not something that we get to. And it creates this understanding that some days, yeah, I'm going to be tired and fatigued. I am going to be sad. And that maybe I'm going to have some of that negativity, but it doesn't mean that it's taken away from my happiness. It doesn't mean that I can't find happiness or that I've done something wrong. I sometimes find myself hoping and wanting happiness to be a constant, achievable state, right? But unfortunately, that belief or dream takes us away from the realities we'll encounter daily. We can be happy every day or we cannot, right? We're human, meaning we're complex and our moods will vary. Happiness isn't a destination to achieve. It's an emotion we can manipulate through living by our values and finding gratitude and compassion for ourselves. I genuinely believe gratefulness is the antidote of sadness. Of course, there's no secret to finding your own way to being happy, but there are several habits you can learn to get there. I'm going to share just a couple of them with you today, and then I'll make sure that I'll leave a link with this podcast so that you can see the full list of strategies we have available. The first strategy: bet on yourself. No joke. Bet on yourself. Put yourself first. When we're kids, we're sponges, vulnerable to our experiences, our families, and peers. So many of us get caught in external validation with limited or no internal resources, right? We we place so much value on the thoughts and opinions of other people. We want to look certain ways. We want to say the right things. We need their relationships exclusively to feel good about ourselves or to have worth. We need their comments to have worth. So much so that if they leave us or if they're away, We don't feel that same kind of worth within ourselves, right? We have limited or no internal resource. We can't find it within ourselves, right? So much so that we lose or minimize the connection with ourselves, within ourselves. It's a blessing to have people in your life that you want to support and bet on, so to speak. However, if you aren't doing that for yourself daily, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or practically, then you're chasing happiness solely through others. You alone are worth it, capable, and meaningful. Learning how to reduce or remove self judgment from your vocabulary is a skill that takes practice. So instead, find compassion for who you are and bet on yourself at all times, even when you need to be your worst critic. I can be my worst critic at times. I can put myself down, and I'm slowly learning that the only thing that's going to come from that is more negativity. You can hear it from yourself, you can hear it from people outside who have opinions and judgments of you. If you want to get ahead and connect with yourself and feel that happiness more consistently, limit, reduce, remove that critic from your mind and vocabulary. Treating yourself with love and kindness is one of the most basic principles of happiness. Another strategy is to give and receive love. One of the more difficult lessons I needed to overcome was to ask for support from others. I really struggled with that. Uh, as a matter of fact, I remember I was coming back from a trip with one of my friends. It was his bachelor party. He was getting married within the next month. And my girlfriend had picked me up from the airport. My car had been parked in her garage at home. And so, anyways, we enjoy the night. She leaves for work in the morning, and I go into work a little bit later. So, when it was about that time for me to leave her apartment, I panicked a little bit. And, I was like, okay, I don't have my keys in my bags. Um, I went to go check the garage just to make sure, see if I left my keys in the car. They weren't there. And I started to freak out, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I left my keys in Park City, Utah, or I left my keys in the airport, or they got left in baggage or something like that. I'm screwed, right? What am I going to do? Here I go. And so I go back inside the apartment. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm Googling different things because I come up with this plan of, okay, well, one, I need another key fob for my vehicle. I have a Dodge Challenger, and so the key fob and the key are all in together, right? So I don't have an additional one. I need a locksmith, maybe somebody to come get into my car and maybe to reprogram that key. And so I came up with two different searches. It was like, well, I can either get a tow truck to come out here and tow my car to a shop and they can do that for me, or I can pay somebody to come out here and pretty much get into my car and program a locksmith. Both of those were highly expensive, and both of those I knew would take time. And so I'm sitting on this couch, I'm trying to devise this plan, and I'm like, I really don't want to spend $300 to $400 today just to get a set of my keys, but I really need to because I have to get to work, right? Even if I got an Uber today and got to work, I would still have to figure this out some other day. So, right, and at the same time, I was just hoping that they pop up, and that's not going to happen. So anyway, the universe must have heard me because Bree called, and as she called, we're checking in and whatnot. And I just decided just to tell her because she was like, "You're still at my house?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still here because of boom, all right, I don't have my keys." And so she started to run through things with me. Hey, did you check here? Did you check here? We had this conversation for a little bit. Don't really come up with anything. And then it dawns on her. She's like, wait a minute. Like, your keys are in my car in the glove box, remember? Boom, it hits. Right. When she had picked me up from the airport, we had stopped at like a food market or something like that. And we had put my keys in there, right, just for safety and things. And we both had forgotten about it. And so that right there took a lot of weight off my chest and man, saved me like 300-400 bucks. And I could get to work today and I didn't have to Uber. And I started laughing at myself and she started laughing at me too. But then kind of got serious and was like, babe, you have to ask for support. It's okay. Like, it's okay if you reach out to me for things, right? Even if I can't help you in the moment. And it was such a difficult situation for me, an uncomfortable situation for me because I'm not used to really asking for support. And so having her there for me was really big. And it's an important lesson, especially when it comes to giving and receiving love, right? We're social creatures and we're built to connect within communities. So, learning to create and maintain your relationships by being emotionally and mentally available, by reaching out for support, and by giving support to those that matter to you is so important. I've learned that when I connect or check in instead with my community, my friend, my family, or my team, I always feel rewarded afterwards, every single time, refreshed, validated, and happy. And that at that second, I was like, I can trust this girl for anything. Right? It's the simplest thing, but right there, down in my head, I can trust her for anything. And next time, I'd be sure to go to her. I want you to do a quick assessment now while you're listening to me here. And I just want you to ask yourself, how often do you connect with your people, your team? Truly connect. I mean, like you're in conversation, you put the phones down, or if you're on the phone, you're not washing dishes, you're not walking the dog, walking around, you're not watching TV. It's just you and this other person chatting wherever you are, even if you're over the video, FaceTime or Zoom or something like that. It's just you guys focusing in on the conversation. It's reciprocal and no other distractions around. How often do you connect with your people? Truly think about it. I would like to hear what you guys think, or I'd like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. If you just let me know. We're temporary passengers, only here but for a time. And I think this is so important why we stress the connection with people. The balance between giving and receiving love, support, rejoices the heart, guides us towards gratitude, and makes our journey that much more meaningful. The next strategy I want to share with you all is to give yourself time alone. I remember waking up one of these weekends and just feeling tired, frustrated, and annoyed. And you might say, well, of course you're going to feel that way on the weekend. You know, what did you do last night? Or maybe it's the end of your week. So, of course, you're going to be a little bit tired, right? Which can be all true. But on this one, right, I had had a decent week. I had had a decent Friday. It wasn't, too crazy. It wasn't too crazy at all. Uh, and I understand being tired, but the frustrated and annoyed thing was what kind of stuck out there. Um, and I wasn't up late at all. I went to bed on time. Okay, so but it was the morning, and I had plenty to do that morning for and with other people. And I just want to put it out there. These activities and stuff that I had to do, they're with people that I enjoy, right? And they're also activities that I enjoy and that are important to me. So it wasn't like I wasn't doing this thing because I didn't want to enjoy it, right? Or I didn't want to be around these people. So being tired made sense, but frustrated and annoyed, I was like, man, why is it that I'm feeling such a way? Because these are things that I want to do and these are people that I want to be with. And after sitting with that thought for a bit and sitting in my emotions and really trying to explore where that feeling was coming from, I had come up with the realization it's because I had been doing this putting other people first every day for a while. And I was burned out on being too available for everyone else and not available for myself. What I'm talking about is something I noticed that comes up for several people, and it's poor boundaries and limited time for yourself, whether it be 5 to 10 minutes alone because you have a huge family or you're a parent, the car ride for work, or a morning to yourself. Time spent alone is imperative. Tell your family right now, I need 5, 10, 15 minutes by myself. It could be the morning, it could be the evening, whatever it is, and whatever that you want to do to kind of just decompress and check in with who you are and where you're at in your life. Think about it. Like, how do you consistently grow and learn about who you are, if you aren't taking time for yourself? I'm a new person. every year, right? Because of the amount of things I'm learning, I would bet that you're the same person. In a decade, you're going to be a different person, right? If you're not checking in consistently, you may be stuck 10 years in the past or mentally floating in the future, right? Disconnected from who you are in the present. Spending a while with yourself each day in silence, in a quiet space, allows you to connect with your own essence and over time to change what you don't like about your life. Being realistic, consistent, and honest with yourself and others is essential. I have learned to be flexible, making time in the morning or evening, depending on my schedule or my family members. If my girlfriend and my family want to do a big breakfast in the morning, right, I'm not going to sit there and go, wait a minute, guys, I have to do my 20-minute routine and then we can figure out what we want to do later. No, I'm going to go to breakfast with them. We're going to have an amazing morning. I'm not going to think about anything else. But maybe towards the evening, I can say, okay, hey, I need about 10 or 15 minutes to kind of relax for myself and decompress. I want to ask you all, what would it look like if you began making time for yourself, right? Think minimally. It doesn't have to be 24 hours, right? Or, it doesn't have to be a whole day of events, essentially. Even with minimally half an hour at least, or 20 minutes, or 15 minutes, whatever it might be. I'm slowly backing away there. Something simple. What would it look like if you began making time for yourself? And I want you to think about that question and ask yourself that without the word but. So if you're going to say it like, well, I want to read in the morning, but, or I want to do this, but, try to remove but and just make the statement. I want to read in the morning. I want to stretch in the morning. I want to go for a walk in the morning. And then I'm going to ask you to remove the time of day. I want to go for a walk. I want to read. I want to stretch more. Whatever it may be, so that you can apply that method of flexibility to it. And you can apply that mindset of this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. By making that statement, it gives you permission to incorporate it throughout your day and find time for it and space for it throughout each day, throughout the week. The word but gives you permission to put aside your needs for someone else or something else. This math is very simple. All right, guys? If it's something that you need, then your body and your spirit are telling you that you need it to recharge and you need it to feel good and connected to who you are. It's very important that we're doing that. The next strategy I want to employ is to find gratitude daily and in every situation. There are several things for me to find fault in, complain about, or be unhappy about. I can find more if I compare myself to someone of my gender, age, race, etc. You struggle to feel happy if most of the time is spent noticing what you don't have or the glamour that someone else has. And I mean it in all positive when I say, hey, great for them, all the blessings. You are not them. And honestly, you do not need to be them. You are the only you, a human person, unique with strengths and flaws like everyone else. And so your life and even this moment right now, this isn't about someone else. It has never been about someone else and it has never have to be about someone else again. Stop to notice the good in your life right now. Give yourself permission to see why it's good for you. And as you're doing that, explore what you feel. Sit in what that attention and awareness feels throughout your body and embrace the moment. To do it again later, this evening, tomorrow. Whenever you experience thoughts or images that try to take you away from the beauty in your life, give yourself permission to notice the good around you. The feeling of gratitude automatically elevates your mood. Starting the day and ending it by recognizing what you do has a transformative effect. Constant complaints reinforce depressive moods and feelings of emptiness. Appreciation and gratitude create unity, wholeness, and thankfulness. The next strategy I want to share with you all: choose your words wisely. When we say one thing and think another, we do not create well being in ourselves or around us. Words only have the power to heal when they come from the heart. You can say the right things to other people. However, you can't fool your body. The words you say to yourself hold extreme power over you and limit your ability to believe in yourself or to believe in change. If you need to, revamp your vocabulary and the things you tell yourself. Create a new habit around positive affirmations, your values, and your strengths. I would take it a step further and challenge your thoughts. Likewise, right? Thoughts are such a weird creation. They've given us advantage as a species to do all the remarkable things that we have done. And while thoughts can help us succeed, they're also detrimental to our lives if we listen to them without verifying the content, right? The most important message I always share is that you are not your thoughts. You are a person who experiences thoughts, one, and then the second portion of you is the observer of those thoughts. You have these thoughts, but then you're also a conscious observer of your thoughts. They're two separate entities and identities. As far as I can tell, it's information that is produced daily from years of programming, experiences, and habits to keep us safe. Whether it be from physical dangers or emotional dangers, our minds protect our bodies and our egos. Therefore, the thoughts you experience should always be validated and checked for their accuracy. If we become aware of our feelings and our ideas, we can begin to change them. The next strategy I want to employ is for you to embrace new experiences. Routine is helpful because it can help eliminate stress, surprises, and confusion. Lack of change can also set limits in your life. So instead of opting out or refraining from trying new experiences, take them on. Learn something new. Take a trip with your family or friends. Try something at least one time or start another career, right? You're not stuck into just doing one thing for the rest of your life. Be creative with it. And if it doesn't work out for you, fine, let's try something else and do it again. You can have some fun. What that does is it not only strengthens your skills, but it exposes you to new people. It allows you to meet new people, and you might also learn new things about yourself. You might learn new strengths and skills that you didn't know were present. So it helps you create and develop stronger relationships, newer beliefs, and it will stimulate you in the process. The last strategy I want to share with you all tonight is to stop personalizing it. Sometimes when we go through difficult times, we isolate on our insecurities and try to find fault within ourselves. Some questions that might try to fill this air of, okay, why did this happen is, what did I do? Or what could I have done differently? Why me? While these questions may ease you at the moment, they can lead to anger, shame, guilt, or resentment. The truth is, we all experience struggles, have flaws, have failed, and have made mistakes. Every single person. The answer isn't that something must be wrong with you or that you are enough. There's nothing wrong with you. You are more than enough. If you didn't do well, what did you learn? What would it take to try it again? What would it look like if you did try again? What other options are there? Switch it up. Maybe that relationship really wasn't healthy. Maybe that relationship wasn't safe, respectful, or honest. Maybe you messed up. Okay. What can you learn from that mistake so that you don't have to make the same decision? You understand what I'm getting at? You can grow and develop, and there's always room for more. One door closed doesn't signal that there isn't something flawed within you. It just means that that door is closed. We try to put meaning to everything. Because I didn't get this thing, it means there's something wrong with me. That is not true. And it's your mind trying to fill the gaps between point A and point B. It just means that the door is closed, right? We can find another way in or around or keep learning, right? I know that's very abstract. Finding another way in might be going back and studying harder, studying more. It might be reaching out for some support and seeing if you can get some assistance or some help. It might mean changing careers. Who knows? Keep learning is self explanatory. You'll come across a doorway or opportunity for which you are prepared. You have to keep moving and developing. Living becomes a pleasant adventure if you are willing to explore life without fear of making mistakes or expressing your dreams. The key to happiness is right inside you. Many of us are influenced by external people and things. Focusing on other results, focusing on others results in chasing happiness, which takes us away from the present moment, takes us away from our experience. We can lose sight of our feelings as they change daily, but joy is found within inner peace. It is found within you. I know many of you listening probably hear this in therapy or you hear it on TV. You're like, yes, I already know it's found within me, but how? How? You can't really establish the belief until you start doing. You have to just start doing. It's in how you talk to yourself. It's in how you dress. It's in how you carry yourself. Even if there's a small chance that you're like, nope, I don't believe this, or a significant chance that you're like, nope, I don't believe this. You have to create evidence for it and go out there and start representing yourself, betting on yourself, putting yourself in new experiences. And when you start to do that, what it does is give you evidence. It gives you confidence that, you know what, I went out there and I did this thing. I can do this. Okay, I found that internal resource that gets us to that internal peace and validation. If you are unhappy, you're most likely not present and focused on things outside of yourself. Instead of finding meaning within yourself, spend time seeing what's most important to you and what you value, and use those ingredients as a compass to peace. Want to learn how to reduce or remove self judgment from your vocabulary? Work with me. Text me at 281-317-7546 or email jai@awritersbusiness.com. A Writer's Business is a community over 18,000 poets and authors, all working together to share tips, critiques, and advice. Join our community today and become a member.